going live. Oh, all righty. You are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they freaking suck. The Eagles suck because they lost the Super Bowl. The Eagles have always sucked, and the Philadelphia Eagles will always suck. The Philadelphia Eagles suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. That just rolls right off the tongue now. Philadelphia Eagles suck. Welcome to the Gridiron once again. Anybody out there at all going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box. I go in 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. Plus, instead of me just rambling on for like a half an hour or so, it's nice to talk to another Giant fan. Last night, I'll tell you what, my computer just like froze up on me. I was in like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. I was just talking, and all of a sudden I had a bunch of these tabs to open up, and I was trying to go from one to the other, and the thing just froze up on me, and I had to reboot it, and it took like 5, 10 minutes for it to come up. I'm like, what the heck? All right, so before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third one's called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. Thank you. I thank you in advance. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Thank you. If you're not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. I can use all the support I can get. So thank you. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. All right. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's a group. All right, what do we got? We have over 3,500 members. We just reached 3,500 members like about a day or 2 ago, I believe it was. So it's doing really good, really doing good. I try to, this is like 7 days a week. As soon as I get done going live here, I'll probably spend like the next hour or 2 putting stuff in the group and in the page, which I'm going to go over in a minute. But not only do I put stuff in there, I mean, if you become a member, not only do I post stuff in there, but the members post stuff in here as well. I try to get up to like about 10 different things a day if I can, whether it's something just showing some stats, an old picture, a post, a video, something, or something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which is my personal favorite. Yes, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in here every day. And then the second Facebook link takes you to my page. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's a page. And I say this in all my videos. Basically, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, Facebook page is all called the same thing. I said, that's even a moron like me, I can remember. It's not like what's my group called? What's the page called? It's all called the same thing. That way I can remember it. All right. But this is a page. Okay. I'm the administrator. I'm the only one to post anything in here, but it's the same thing. I try to get like up to about like 10 different things a day if I can in here. Sometimes in the off season, it's a little difficult. There's not a lot going on. During the regular season, it's really easy to put a bunch of stuff in here. But it's the same thing. I try to get whether it's a post, a picture, something showing some stats, a video, something making fun of the Eagles, or I try to get as much stuff in here as I can every day. And I don't commingle. So basically, like the stuff that I put in the page, or I'll put in the group. Whenever I put in the group, I don't put in the page. I said, unless every now and then I said, there's something making fun of like the Eagles, because that's what I exist for. That's what I'm put on this planet for, to make fun of the Philadelphia Eagles. If I see something really juicy, make fun of the Eagles, I just want to spread it with everybody. So, So I might wind up putting that stuff, in both in the group and in the page. But for the most part, I try to keep stuff separate. So, but I mean, if you go to the page, you can follow it and go to the group and you become a member. You get a ton of New York Giants information every day. And like I say in every video, if you go to the page, I can find you go to the group and you become a member. If you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, with all that stuff said and done and out of the way with here, day 5 of the OTAs in the books. Apparently, hey, what's up, Terrence? Oh my God, yeah, I got it. Well, that was the one thing last night. I had like 800. I got all these tabs open, and I'm trying to click. I was trying to click on the tabs, and it wouldn't let me click on the tabs. I'm like, what's going on there? I mean, usually I can click on a tab, and new tab opens up, and I can read whatever, and I go from one to the other. Last time I was clicking on a tab, it wasn't like I'm like what? And then all of a sudden, instead of clicking on a tab, all of a sudden it just started spinning, like a wheel started spinning. I'm like, it's spinning. It's like, what the heck is going on? I ain't had that happen before to me. So I'm like, and it kept spinning and spinning and spinning. I'm like, yeah, this ain't happening. So I just had to shut everything down. And by the time it came back up, it was like 5-10 minutes later. I'm like, what the heck? I don't know if it rebooted and sometimes it updates. Sometimes I'll close my computer down, I'll open it up in the morning, and it's like shuts off and everything's like wiped out, and so it updates, and then I got to open up all the tabs again. It's a pain in the ass. I didn't think it was going to happen in the middle of the my broadcast, but I know went through. Yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah. Well, the thing was, it was kind of like it was like. 10 minutes later, something like that, 10, 15 minutes. So I'm like, yeah, because I was on for like 5 or 10 minutes and it took 10, 15 minutes for it to come back up. So it's like, do I try to start it again? And I'm like, I knew that it had the OTAs going on today. So I figured, what the heck? I mean, at least I have some stuff to talk about tonight if worse comes to worse. So with the cool thing was, with the OTAs was apparently, Patricia Traynor, she was there. I mean, you get it's just not so much from her, but she put a video out. She was there. She was asking some questions and everything. And this is Big Blue View. And where's the other one here? Is this Giants.com? Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people that put stuff out, but she did a video. So she asked some questions. She was at the OTA and she came back and she put a video out. So I was listening to that about an hour or so ago, and she was listening to like stuff that she that stuff that she observed, there, and she went over quite a few different things. But apparently one of them was speed. Speed was on display. She said she compared her notes from, I guess, like last year. I guess maybe the second OTA that she was able to go to last year. And then she compared her notes to like what was going on, I guess, maybe this year or whatever. And she was just kind of comparing notes. And she said, she's like, my God, she's like, phew. She said, you can feel the speed, and even Darius Slayton was talking about that too. They were talking to him. Kayvon was there. Adoree Jackson was there. Who the heck else? Slayton. Oh man, who's the fourth guy? Who the heck was the fourth? Was it Neil? Neil. I think it was Neil, Adoree Jackson, Slayton, and Kayvon. They were talking to, and Dable. But even Slayton. I mean, Slayton he had a, what the heck was it, quarter of the day. Darius Slayton has always been known as the fast guy among the Giants. He noted on Wednesday that with Jalen Hyatt, Paris Campbell, Jeff Smith, tight end Darren Waller, and other guys, I mean, let's not forget Bryce Wheaton too. Don't forget about him. Fortunately, he had a drop pass. It was a rather catchable pass from Tyrod Taylor. And then apparently, I think it was Patricia Traynor was talking about too, that also, like, I don't know what it was, maybe the next play or a couple plays later, he made a nice acrobatic kind of catch or something like that, but he had a dropsy. Yeah, So let's see. As such, in 2 OTAs, media has had access. We've seen the ball going deep down the field more than often we did last season. Here's Slayton's thought on that. What's the point of having a bunch of Ferraris and keeping them in the garage? Take them out to the track. Let's see. He also, what the heck did he say? He was talking about like how fast some of the guys were. I mean, he was talking about like, obviously, here we go. He said kind of, I lean toward other speed guys, Slayton said. I like watching people fly around fast. We've got a lot of them now. He said Paris Campbell was a 4.3 guy. Jeff Smith was a 4.2. I don't know, he was 4.29 or something like that. Or he said low 4.3. I mean, that's freaking fast. Obviously, Jalen Hyatt, Slayton, and then Bryce Wheaton, too. Don't forget about him. And Slayton says, I can fly. If you turn on the film, it's a whole lot of he said it's a whole lot of flying. I mean, it's fun to watch, fun to play with guys like that. While some bring speed to the table, Hodgins and Colin Johnson can provide a change-up with their size and physicality. Then, as Slayton said, Darren Waller just has it all. Yeah, I mean, Waller said it apparently seems like what the Giants are going to wind up doing. I really don't think that you can really think that the Giants are probably going to go after, maybe DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, it's a nice thought and all, but it just seems like they're going to try to keep building the team the way they're doing it. Actually, in Patricia Traynor, she was also mentioning, too, she said, she was seeing a lot of motion, which you saw last year, too. But one thing she pointed out in particular, I can't remember who the heck it was, if it was Slayton and Campbell or Hyatt and Slayton or who the heck it was. But she said, they had some guys going in motion or something, but also before the snap, she said the guy in the slot and the guy on the outside switched. So she was kind of also bringing up along the fact that, how Wink Martindale has a positionless defense. I mean, also she was kind of also maybe pointing out somewhere along the lines that I don't want to say not a positionless offense, but somewhere it's not so much that's Darius Slayton. Okay, well we know he's going wide. He won't be in the slot, or he won't line up over here, or maybe he won't. What I mean, so it seems like that everybody's going could be lining up almost anywhere. It seems like Dabo and Kafka might be having a lot of fun with these guys. So, you can easily look at it what do we got? Locked On Giants. Yeah, Locked On Giants. Yeah, Patricia Traynor. Yeah. Yeah, she just came out. She had one. She had one this morning. She was talking about she did one. It was talking about, I think it was, if I remember, it's 6 guys that they might, maybe if I remember, it's the one because she had 2 of them about redoing their contracts, I think it was, and then she put out another one, I guess, as soon as she came home from the OTAs, and she put, I guess, on her podcast, but then she also put it out on YouTube and all that. Yeah, so Locked On Giants, yeah. Dable said they are looking into hockey. Yeah. Well, he said that, they're doing a due diligence. I mean, he said Shane and, if you got somebody out there, they'll check into it. I just don't know if, I mean, if they're like one guy away, if they're Hopkins away from maybe knocking down the Super Bowl door and all of that, okay. It's just, if you look at it, I mean, if they were like They got a bunch of they got a nice receiving. I mean, they don't have obviously they don't have the 1 and the 2. I mean, obviously they don't have like the Waddle and the Tyreek Hill. No, they don't have the DeVonta Smith and the AJ Brown. I mean, some of those guys, they don't have that, right? Not even close. But they have a nice collect. They got some speed. They got tall guys. They got short guys. They got guys in the slot. A lot of speed. So it's overall, it's a real nice collection of guys. But I mean, they still don't have. I mean, that one guy. Now, who that one guy is going to be? I mean, Hopkins. I don't know. I mean, this just seems like the way they're trying to build the team, especially if they have Waller. I mean, do they want to add Waller, who's over 30, who can cost them some money? He's not too bad this year, but he's going to get a little more expensive next year. I mean, do they want to bring in a Hopkins who's over 30 once again, who might be kind of affordable this year, but then might wind up costing a bit more next year? I don't know. It just seems like the way they're trying to build the team is, maybe through the draft. The only problem is they're trying to find an overall freaking just a stud in the draft. You got to be drafting low. And of course, we don't want to be drafting low because that means we stink this year. So, I mean, and I don't know if they would wind up trading. Let's just say the Giants are drafting 25 once again, maybe somebody falls to number 15 or something like that. Maybe you can trade your 1 and maybe a 2 and maybe jump up and get something like that. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, the Giants, it's once again, it's always a process. They weren't going to be able to fill in all of their holes this year. It's a process. They filled in some holes this year. They'll be able to fill in a few more holes next year. And, as long as everybody stays on the course and all that, they don't start, bringing a bunch of free agents that they only have for a year or so, whatever. I mean, if they stay on the course, with the next year or so, I certainly think they closed the gap without question on the Eagles, without question. And I think they're darn close to being even with the Cowboys, without question. Let's see here. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on here. Khalil Pimpleton got it. That was good to see. Let's see here. Daniel Jones threw a pair of touchdown passes from close range late in the practice. First to Isaiah Hodgins, and secondly to Darius Slayton. Speed on the offense was a topic of conversation during the media sessions. Slayton said he was talking about himself. Let's see here. While some bring speed to the table, Hodgins and Colin Johnson can provide a changeup with their size and physicality. Then, as Slayton said, Darren Waller just has it all. They don't know where it's coming from, Slayton said, of all the weapons. And then, as I said, you put Saquon Barkley in there. Give the guy, I don't know. You go up and down with it. It's like, you don't want to overpay for a running back, but then again, this is just not a running back. This is Saquon Barkley. He's been the face of the franchise since he's been in the team. Drafted number 2 overall. He's an absolute freaking model player. My absolute model for somebody you want on your team, right? I mean, if the guy wants $5 or $6 extra $1 million in guaranteed money, I'm not saying per year, but I mean, or say 6, 8 million. I mean, if you're going to pay him for 3 years, if he wants like an extra 8 million, I mean, come on. I mean, the salary cap next year is going to be like maybe 245. I mean, you can't come up with an extra $2 million to pay the guy. I'm not saying give him $16 million a year or whatever, but I mean, come on. But it's like what he's talking about, what Slayton's talking about. They don't know where it's coming from. You know what I mean? I mean, you got Waller and you got a lot of speed, and you get Saquon in the backfield. That'd be a nice group of guys. Really nice group of guys. He said Slayton says you've got me or Jaylen or Paris or any of the other guys. Darren is a huge guy but can fly. It's like you've got all of these guys flying at you. you've got to guard somebody. I think for us, it just puts us all in an advantage situation. True. Tyrod Taylor also threw a short touchdown pass to Khalil Pimpleton, but that wasn't the wide receiver's big play of the Monday. More on that later. Takeaways. The offense hadn't turned the ball over. Well, yeah, they just jinxed that since the first OTA. Okay. So they went 3 OTAs in a row without turning the ball over. Well, who is it? Is it DeVito? He took care of that. Let's see here. Top plays with the offense wearing white on Wednesday. Johnson had his number 15 call frequently out there. The productive outing was another good sign. The 6'6", 220-pounder who had suffered Achilles in training, his back, is looking good. Really looking good. The long play today was credited to Pimpleton, who hauled in a deep pass from Jones over the shoulder. Jones found Waller for a big gain, adding to the buzz that the two have created with their rapport. Rookie Deonte Banks and Adoree Jackson also broke up passes as they have taken on a mentor and mentee relationship. So I think was it DeVito? I think he overthrew somebody. I don't know who the wide receiver was, but he overthrew somebody, and the pass wound up being picked off. So. But other than that, I mean, for the most part, they've had 5 OTAs and they've only had 2 interceptions so far. So they've done a very, very good job. And you got to credit also, I mean, the defense, because the defense can't touch anybody, really for the most part. So, I mean, it's been very, very good. Then I seen there's the top, actually was on Big Blue Kickoff Live. They were talking about NFL.com. The top, actually, they have the best 12 available free agents. Number 3, the number 3 one overall is DeAndre Hopkins. Then they start going in. Now, some of the guys the Giants could use. The thing is that their second highest ranked as of right now free agent is Yannick Ngakoue. I mean, he's been on a bunch of teams. I thought they said, I didn't check. I should have checked. I thought they said he was been on 6 teams in the past 4 years. There's a reason why. I mean, he'll get you, 8 to 10 sacks. Yep. But I mean, as far as run support, run defense, it just seems like that's not in he just wants to rush the quarterback and he wants to get paid. And unfortunately, he probably wants to get paid like he's the number 1 or number 2 edge rusher. And that's not happening. We got Azeez and we got Kayvon. So if we were to bring in Ngakoue in, he would wind up being like number 3, and we'd have to pay him like a number 3. And that's probably not happening. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't want. Here we go. It says right here. Duh. If I could read. Ngakoue, sacks and quarterback hits sell, but Ngakoue's inability to stop the run is probably why he's likely headed to his 6th team in 4 years. I mean, he's only 28. He'll be 28. I mean, he's still young, but it's just, he would be a very, very nice, to bring in like on a 3rd down or something like that, right? I mean, as your 3rd edge rusher or something, he would be fantastic, really, really fantastic. But probably not at the money he's going to want to get paid. That's just still too rich for the Giants. Then you got Jadeveon Clowney, who once again is a freakish athlete. But unfortunately, the guy, he gets injured a lot. Looks like he'll be 30, so he's still not old, and he can provide some juice and all that and everything, but he gets injured a lot. Then they got Dalton Risner. And once again, he's only 28, and I saw that he might come in maybe like a 1-year deal, maybe for $5 million, but I don't see the Giants doing that right now. I mean, if they're going to spend $5 million on somebody, I could certainly see bringing in, he can't play the run. Yeah. He can't play or he don't want to play the run. It's not sexy. I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, sacks are sexy, sacks sell and all that stuff and everything. But, you know, I mean, especially he's probably going to want at least double, maybe close to double digits of money. But Dalton Risner, I mean, if Dalton Ryan, you know, I mean, the Giants seem with McKeithen. I mean, we still got. We got Bredesen, we got McKeithen, we got Lemieux, right? You know, obviously Azuda. You know, so we got a bunch of guys, and then we have Glowinski. If we didn't have Glowinski, and if we let Lemieux go, you know, but I don't know. I can't even still trying to bring Ryan, especially this year. We know we got Glowinski. You're not going to bring a guard in this year, you know, for $5 million. No way. Absolutely not. Not with the guys that we got. There's too many other guys we can bring in there for cheaper. Marcus Peters is everybody keeps calling for him. I mean, well, not everybody, but he keeps saying, you know, because he spent time with Wink. Marcus Peters, he'll be 30, right? Peters was effective in his first season back from ACL surgery. He still looks like a starter. The thing is with him, okay, is most of his snaps, let's see here, especially, was it last season? Yeah, especially last season. Let me see this, in the slot. He had 19 snaps in the slot last year. He had he had 719 snaps in the wide corner, okay? So, I mean, if we got Deonte Banks and Adoree Jackson, where's Marcus Peters going to play? There's another guy I'm going to bring up in a minute. You know, possibly. I still don't even, because we got so many guys. We got a lot of guys. Hopefully somebody steps up, you know, to the forefront in the slot, right? Because once again, Darnay Holmes, Patricia Traynor was talking about, he still looked a little touchy-feely, grabby kind of out there. You know, he wasn't looking super duper spectacular. McCain was in the slot. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Flott was in the slot. Holmes was in the slot. You know, so but there's like no clear-cut winner. I mean, obviously Aaron Robinson. I guess he's still coming back. Rodarius Williams, I think he's still something wrong with him. So we don't have all of our guys back and able to maybe participate. So, but I mean, the thing is with Marcus Peters, I mean, he would be good if we needed somebody, you know, on the outside, but we don't, we got between Banks, Adoree Jackson, we don't need like a Marcus Peters. Next, Leonard Floyd. Now, once again, the same thing. He'll be 30. Now, without question, he's a good, it says here's a good quality runs who can also upgrade playing on starting jobs around the league. And obviously, you know, he can, you know, may not get you, it definitely hit the double digit sack, especially if you wind up using him as a backup. But I mean, you know, he's overall solid, but once again, what's he going to cost? You know, especially if he's going to be your third. You know, if Azeez is healthy and if Kayvon's healthy, then you got Melvin Ingram, like the ageless one. Same thing with him. I mean, you know, he wouldn't cost you a boatload of money. He would be somebody that, you know, he would be your third guy. You bring him in for a few $1 million, and he would be like your third. Right. I mean, obviously, we still got other guys. I want to see what Baldonado can do. If Ellison Smith can ever stay healthy and get on the field. Right. We brought Hottie back, Oshane Ximines back, Toman Fox. Right. And then Teddy Bridgewater. Apparently, the way Danny DeVito's going, that's what I think that's what the quarterback's name is. He hasn't looked super spectacular. Patricia Traynor said he hasn't looked. Well, see, when she's talking about, like, she's looking at like Tyrod Taylor throw a pass, Daniel Jones throw a pass, and you see Danny DeVito or whatever throw the pass. Like, it's almost kind of like night and day. So it's, you know, we could use Teddy Bridgewater. He's only going to be 30, but you know, I mean, you know, you were trying to bring a quarterback in probably that we can develop, somebody on the cheap that you can develop, right? And Teddy Bridgewater wouldn't be it. Frank Clark, interesting here. That's the same thing with him. How much would he wind up costing? Frank, edge rusher, he's going to be 30. Said played Well, it says here, Clark played a lot for the Chiefs, perhaps too much. That helped him rack up more than 50 pressures in each of the last 2 years. Very impressive. But he'd be better used as a rotational pass rusher at this stage in his career, which is something the Giants, quite possibly. I mean, because if you look, I mean, where do the Giants need, they don't need interior defensive line. They can use, somebody who is I said, you don't know what you got with Ellison Smith. You don't know what you got with Baldonado. Tolman Fox, okay. Hottie, he's not an unbelievable edge rusher. Ximines, maybe the fourth edge rusher. But if you get somebody like a Frank Clark, if you're going to spend some money, if you're going to spend, I'm just throwing some numbers out there, 4, 5, 6 million, just throwing numbers out there. I couldn't even, I have no idea. I could be way the frick off. But if you're going to spend 4, 5, 6 million on somebody, I think maybe a rotational edge rusher would be huge. Frank Clark might be the answer. Now, this other guy, Justin Houston, right? He's another ageless one. I mean, it's like Ingram and Houston. They're both 34. I mean, Houston's the same thing, right? I mean, his better days obviously behind him, but bring him in, right, for a couple $1 million, have him rotational, might be something to think about. The other one here is Bryce Callahan. All right. Now he's had a couple good years. All right, he had some, and he had a lot, especially, was it last year? Okay, let me go last year, 2022. Snaps by position. He played a lot in the slot. He played 572 snaps in the slot. So as far as what this says, he's still available. Last year, he graded out a 61.9. His run defense wasn't phenomenal. But his coverage grade was a 63.4. I mean, he's had, what is he? He's 31. He'll be 32 this year. I'm not sure if that's somebody they want to bring in, but I mean, he had a couple really good years. 2020 with Denver, he graded out at 84.1. His coverage grade with 2020 with Denver, it was an 86.7. He must have missed 2019. In 2018 with the Bears, his coverage grade was an 81.3. 2017, his coverage grade with the Bears was a 77.3. So even 2021, it was a 67.9. Last year, he took a little step back, but, I'm sure they're probably, because the amount of guys that they brought in, the amount of guys that they got, I'm sure they're probably going to want to try to find somebody. But Bryce Callahan, if they needed somebody for the slot, obviously, of course, depends upon how much he would cost. But he's about there would be Houston, right? Callahan. I mean, I don't Ingram, and I don't know what Clark would cost, but boy, I'll tell you, if they could get Clark, more than 50 pressures in each of the last 2 seasons. Nice. So there's a couple of guys out here, but I'm saying if the Giants are going to spend money, they're going to go, they can't go too big. But I'm saying big, meaning 4, 5, 6 million on a year on a guy for a year. I think we go edge rusher. I think that we got a ton of. We don't need nobody else at tight end, or if we do, we're bringing somebody in for $1 million a year or something. We don't, we got so many wide receivers. If we're going to bring a wide receiver in, it's going to be the dog. You're looking at $10, $15 million a year guy. We don't need a quarterback. Don't need a running back. We got so much at the offensive line, interior defensive line. We're good there. We got so many guys in secondary and in the cornerbacks, in the interior, right? I mean, we got Beavers, right? You got Davis. You got McFadden. I said Beavers, and obviously Carrick. So, we got, we're good there. If we're going to spend any money, if we're going to spend 4, 5, 6 million on somebody else to bring somebody else in, I think a third edge rusher, because Kayvon, it was a bad block that took his knee out and hurt him for a while there. But then, Azeez has had a hard time staying healthy last year. So if we're going to bring in a third edge rusher, if you're going to spend 4, 5, 6 on a guy, a third rotational edge rusher would be my pick. And there's still some guys out there. I said Frank Clark is only 30, or he'll be 30 this year. So, and then there's an article here. I've seen 5 Giants who will take a big step forward in 2023. The first one is Darrian Beavers. Oh, I believe, yeah, if he can stay healthy, absolutely. He says, an incredibly underrated player on the Giants heading into the 2023 season is Darrian Beavers. While he didn't play at all in the regular season last year to do his torn ACL, Beavers showed flashes of greatness in the preseason that has us excited for what he could do. Absolutely. You want to bring out another left guard? Left guard. I mean, we got Bredesen. We got, we don't know where Lemieux's going to play. We got a Zudu. You don't know where they got McKeithen at. I mean, we got Bredesen, we got a Zudu, we got Lemieux, we got McKeithen, we got Davis too. Don't we have Davis? I thought we had Davis too. And you got Glowinski. I mean, we got a lot of guys. Let's see. So with Beavers, outside of Okereke, there is no guarantee of who will be playing linebacker for the Giants this season. With options of Micah McFadden, Jarrett Davis, Beavers himself, may take sense to see Beavers start early and if he continues to play well. Okereke is a run specialist, so it may make sense to put a player who will very likely be great in coverage alongside him in order to balance things out. Giants have really struggled to find genuine talent at linebacker for a while. Yep. Well, yeah, I mean, they've had opportunities to draft guys and all. They just wait for later on in the draft to get these guys. They haven't put a lot of emphasis on picking up inside linebackers, interior linebackers. So I definitely think, without question, Darrian Beavers is going to take a step forward this year. Without question, he just has to stay healthy. The next one here, they say, is Cordell Flott. I would like to see that too, especially in the slot, right? I mean, especially because they drafted him too. They're pulling for him. So one of the more underrated defensive rookies from last year's draft class is Giants' Cordell Flott. Following his selection in the 3rd round, Flott didn't see the field much early in the season due to injury. Yep. Once healthy, Flott provided the Giants with some pretty valuable snaps and coverage. He was far from perfect, but it's worth noting that Flott's PFF coverage grade of 73 ranks 6th among all rookie cornerbacks. Very impressive. In the 10 games we saw from Flott, he racked up 25 combined tackles while allowing 16 receptions on 24 targets for 178 yards and 1 touchdown. Yeah, right? So he played in 10 games and he gave up 16 receptions. He gave up 1.6 receptions a game. He gave up 10 games. He gave up 17 points. Basically, he gave up 18 yards a game in receptions. 18 yards receiving a game. Let's see. By far the best game Flott saw came in week 18 against the Eagles. Flott was lined up against A.J. Brown the majority of the game and allowed just 3 receptions on 7 targets for 29 yards. So I'll tell you what, boy, I would be stoked about that if you got Banks, if you can get Flott, if you can stay healthy, and then next year you attack the other cornerback position if you're not going to bring Adoree Jackson back. But I would certainly like to see, and that's what I mean. Obviously, they're all obviously all hoping for. Obviously, is that your rookie season. You learn, you make your mistakes, right? But you want to take that step forward in season 2, especially if you're under the same tutelage of Wink, same kind of system and all that. Obviously, he's going to tweak it a little bit. He's just not going to keep running the same stuff all the time. He's going to keep tweaking stuff, but you want him to take a step forward, and I can certainly, I can certainly see that. Then we have the next guy who's going to take a step forward in 2023. I believe, as long as he had some injuries last year, and always obviously was Evan Neal. Since following a rough rookie season, Evan Neal enters his 2nd year ready to be a difference maker for the Giants offense. He may not take a massive jump into stardom like Andrew Thomas did in his 2nd season, but we're expecting Neal to be significantly better than he was last fall. Absolutely. He's working on his straight. Absolutely. Said 13 games last season. Neal allowed 7 sacks and 39 pressures, earning a PFF pass blocking grade of 47.5. While it isn't good by any means, it's worth mentioning that this was Neal's first season at right tackle since 2020, and a lot of the problems he showcased are very flexible. So that's good. But also, a lot of the problems he had, he was also injured too, right? Let's not forget that. And if your lower body's injured and you got to try to, go up against these edge rushers, good luck. That's all I got to say. Evan Neal, I can definitely see him without question taking a big step forward. Then they got Daniel Jones, and this makes a little bit of sense here too. Just things are far from perfect on the Giants' offense, but boy, are they ridiculously better than they were last season. Alongside the additions made the Giants receiving corps. Joe Shane also added the best center in this year's draft class to the offensive line. This means that we could see Daniel Jones have an even better season than he did in 2022. We already saw a much improved version of Jones last season while playing behind a poor offensive line and throwing to a practice squad receiving corps. Well, they got a point there. However, now he has a far better offensive line, a Pro Bowl passing catcher, tight end Darren Waller, and some incredibly solid options at receiver. Considering how much money he was signed for, we believe in Shane's trust in the 25-year-old quarterback to be a Giants franchise signal caller. Absolutely. Absolutely. You want him to see him, he doesn't have to go 30 touchdown passes this year, but man, you'd really like to see, you gotta, unless he's injured for whatever, 4, 5, 6 games or something, he's got to hit the 20 plateau mark in a touchdown. He only threw 5 interceptions in the regular season, which was really, what did he throw? I think 2 of them in the Detroit game. So, that was a tough game. But, but he's got to have at least 20 touchdown passes this year. And the number one guy who's going to take a step forward this year is Kayvon Thibodeau. And following an incredibly fun-to-watch rookie season, Kayvon enters 2023 looking to break out into the star player we know he can be. While on paper, Thibodeau didn't put up the craziest numbers. The numbers at times he showed up were in manners most showed us all, we all needed to see to know the Giants have a future superstar in their hands. Through 14 games last season, Thibodeau racked up 43 combined tackles, 4 sacks, 40 total pressures. Okay, that should get a little bit better this year. And 2 forced fumbles. Whether it be his game-sealing strip sack of Lamar Jackson in Week 6 or his strip sack touchdown return against the Commanders in Week 15, Thibodeau had no shortage of crazy moments during his rookie season. Like I said, let's not forget, the strip sack against Lamar Jackson sealed the deal, won the Giants the game. The strip sack against the Commanders, we picked it up and ran it for a touchdown, was the margin of victory in that game. So he didn't have 300 sacks like we all want him to do and everything, but got to give the guy a lot of credit. He's been working. Wink wanted him to work on his core, the strength of, his core, his strength, and his legs as well too. So he's a proud man, without question, Kayvon. And I don't think, he's not resting on his laurel. Evan Neal's not. Kayvon's not. Kayvon's going to continue to work. Smart guy. He's going to keep working on himself. So. I believe so, absolutely. Especially, I definitely think Neal and Kayvon are going to get better this year too. So things are looking good. Things are looking good. All right, Terrence. Good talking to you again, buddy. It's been 43, almost 44 minutes. Me shoot my mouth off. So whoever spent any time watching me at all, thank you. I greatly appreciate it so much. Terrence, as always, buddy. Good talking to you, pal. I'll be back again tomorrow. Or if anybody spends any time watching me play this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. You can use all the support I can get. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.